My wife texted, "We're officially separating. Don't speak to me directly." I replied, "Understood," closed every shared account and handed the bank full documentation. 3 days later, the number calling me in panic belonged to someone she never expected. I'm 35, and I've been married for 7 years. We met in our late 20s, got married fast, probably too fast. For the first few years, things were good enough. Not perfect, but functional. We both worked, split bills, had our routines. I handled the finances because I was better with numbers, and she admitted she hated dealing with banks and paperwork. She handled the social calendar, kept us connected with friends and family. It worked. The cracks started showing about 2 years ago. She became distant, constantly on her phone, dismissive when I'd ask about her day. I tried talking to her multiple times, suggesting we go to counseling, take a trip, anything to reconnect. She'd wave me off, say she was fine, just stressed with work. I believed her because I wanted to. Then came the text. March 15th, 2:47 p.m. I was at my desk when my phone buzzed. "We're officially separating. Don't speak to me directly. All communication goes through my lawyer moving forward." No warning. No conversation. Just that text, sent while I was in the middle of a work meeting. I stared at it for a solid minute, reading it over and over, waiting for the follow-up that said she was joking or angry or anything that made sense. Nothing came. I texted back. "Understood." That was it. No begging. No questions. No emotion. Just acknowledgement. If she wanted it done this way, clean and cold, I could do that too. I left work early, told my boss I had a family emergency. He didn't ask questions. When I got home, she wasn't there. Her car was gone, and I noticed immediately that some of her things were missing. Not everything. Just enough to show she'd been planning this. Clothes, her laptop, some photos from her side of the family. The bathroom shelf where she kept her stuff was half empty. I sat on the couch for a while, just processing. 7 years, ended with a text message. No face-to-face conversation, no attempt to work it out. Just a lawyer threat and radio silence. Then something clicked in my head. If she wanted lawyers and official separation, she'd get exactly that. I pulled out my laptop and started working. First, I logged into our joint checking account. We'd kept everything shared because she'd insisted on it years ago, said it showed trust. I took screenshots of everything. Balances, transaction history going back 3 years, automatic payments, all of it. Then I transferred exactly half of the balance to my personal account that I'd opened when I first started working, before we even met. 50%, down to the cent fair and legal. Next, I went to our savings account. Same process. Screenshots, documentation, transferred half. We had about $47,000 saved up, so I moved $23,500 to my account. Again, perfectly legal in our state during separation before official divorce proceedings. Then I tackled the credit cards. We had 3 joint cards. I called each company, explained we were separating, and requested to remove my name from 2 of them and remove her name from 1. They required some documentation, which I provided immediately. The card I kept was the one with the lowest balance, about $800. The 2 she kept had balances of $3,200 and $1,900. Her spending, her problem now. I documented every shared subscription we had. Streaming services, insurance policies, gym memberships, the meal kit delivery she loved. I canceled my name from everything that allowed it and made notes about what would need legal separation. The house was the tricky part. We rented. Both our names on the lease. I called the landlord, explained the situation, asked what the process was for one person breaking the lease. He was surprisingly understanding, said he'd need it in writing, but we could work something out. I sent him an email that night with the full explanation and a request to be removed from the lease effective immediately. With the understanding I'd pay my portion through the end of the month. By midnight, I'd closed, separated, or documented every single shared account we had. Every joint financial tie, cut or prepared to be cut. I compiled everything into a folder. Bank statements, transfer receipts, account closure confirmations, emails to service providers, everything. The next morning, I took a personal day from work. Drove to our bank's main branch and asked to speak with the manager. I brought printed copies of everything. The manager, a woman probably in her 50s, listened to my situation and reviewed my documentation. "You've been thorough," she said, sounding almost impressed. I was told not to speak to her directly and that lawyers would be involved. "I'm just making sure everything is clear and legal. This is all proper. You split shared accounts 50-50, documented everything, no suspicious activity. This will actually make any legal proceedings much cleaner. That's the idea." I had her put notes on our old joint accounts, documenting the separation date and the division of assets. She printed me copies of everything with the bank's official stamps. I thanked her and left. The next stop was a lawyer's office. I'd done some research the night before and found someone who specialized in divorce cases. The consultation was surprisingly affordable. I showed him everything I'd done. He looked through the documentation, asked a few questions about assets and property, then leaned back in his chair. "I wish more clients were this organized. You've done most of my preliminary work for me. If she contests anything here, she won't have ground to stand on. Everything's equal, documented, legal. What about the house? If you're both on the lease, you're both liable until one of you is formally removed or it expires. But your email to the landlord helps. Shows you're making good faith effort to separate obligations." I hired him on the spot. Paid the retainer with a check from my personal account. He said he'd draft formal separation papers and wait to see if her lawyer contacted him first. Update 1. Day 3 after the text. I was at work, actually managing to focus for once, when my phone started ringing. Unknown number. I usually don't answer those, but something made me pick up. "Hello. Hi, is this a pause? I'm calling about a joint account flagged for unusual activity." It was the bank. Not our usual branch, but their fraud department. "Yes, that's me. What's the issue?" "We had someone attempt to withdraw a large sum from account ending in $47.82. The account shows recent separation activity, so we're calling both account holders before processing." That was our old joint savings. The one I'd already split. I removed my portion 3 days ago. "How much is someone trying to withdraw?" "The full remaining balance. $23,500. I almost laughed. "That would be the other account holder. I documented the separation with your main branch. I only took my half." "Yes, we see that. But she's claiming the full amount should be available to her, and that your withdrawal was unauthorized. Do you need me to come in? I have all the documentation." "That would be helpful." "Yes." I left work again, getting looks from my coworkers, but not caring. At the bank, there was a different manager, and sitting in the waiting area, looking furious, was my wife. We made eye contact. She stood up. "You can't just take." I held up my hand, didn't say a word, and walked past her into the manager's office. The manager looked uncomfortable. "Sir, your wife is insisting that. She texted me 3 days ago saying we're separating, and that I'm not allowed to speak to her directly. All communication has to go through lawyers. So I'm following her instructions. I'm not speaking to her. Here's my documentation." I laid out everything again. The manager reviewed it, made some calls, checked computer records. Finally, she looked up. "Everything you did was legal and properly documented. The account was joint. You took exactly half. You have proof of separation date." "Mrs. We're not using names," I interrupted. She wanted lawyers. "Tell her to have her lawyer contact mine." I wrote down my lawyer's contact information and slid it across the desk. Then I stood up and left. Walked right past my wife, who was now on her phone, probably calling someone. I didn't look at her. That evening, my lawyer called. Well, this got interesting fast. Her lawyer just contacted me. Apparently, she's upset about the accounts. I took half. Exactly half. Legal right. Completely legal. Her lawyer knows that. I think she's more upset that you did it so quickly and efficiently. According to her lawyer, she was planning to file first and hoped to negotiate keeping more of the savings since she, quote, needs it more. Needs it for what? He paused. That's where it gets interesting. Her lawyer let slip that she's planning to move across the country for a job opportunity. She wanted the full savings to fund the move and get settled. I sat down. Across the country. So this wasn't just separation. It was abandonment. She'd planned the whole thing. Wanted to drain the accounts and disappear. What are my options? Right now, you hold all the cards. You split everything fairly. You documented everything. And you made the first legal moves. She's scrambling. Her lawyer's actually not bad. But there's not much he can do when you've done everything by the book. Update 2. Day 5. My phone rang again. Different unknown number. But I was getting used to these calls. I answered. Is this about the accounts again? No. A male voice. Older. Tired sounding. This is her father. Can we talk? I'd always gotten along with her dad. He was reasonable. Practical. Not prone to drama. I hadn't expected him to call. She told you not to speak to her. I'm respecting that. I know. Look, I'm not calling to take sides. I'm calling because I need to understand what happened. She showed up at our house 2 days ago. Crying. Saying you locked her out of everything. But that doesn't sound like you. I sighed. I didn't lock her out of anything. She texted me saying we're separating and I'm not allowed to speak to her. I did exactly what someone should do in that situation. I protected myself legally and split everything 50-50. She still has access to her half of everything. She said you took all the money. I took half. Exactly half. I have bank statements proving it. She's upset because she wanted to take all of it. Silence on the other end. Then all of it. According to my lawyer, she's moving across the country and wanted the full savings to fund it. She planned this whole thing. More silence. I didn't know about any move. Neither did I until 3 days ago when I got a text message ending our marriage. He exhaled slowly. I'm sorry. I raised her better than this. It's not your fault. Can I ask you something? Did you try to work it out before this? For 2 years, I tried. Suggested counseling, date nights, weekend trips, honest conversations. She shut me down every time. Said she was fine. Apparently, she wasn't fine. She was planning an exit. This is my daughter, and I love her, but this is wrong. The way she's doing this is wrong. I appreciate you saying that. What happens now? That's up to her lawyer and mine. I split everything fairly. If she wants to contest it, we go to court, and I have documentation proving I did everything legally and ethically. If she wants to just sign papers and move across the country, I won't fight her. And if she wants to come back, try to fix things. I thought about that. Then she needs to start by explaining why she ended 7 years with a text message, why she planned to drain our accounts, and why she thought any of this was acceptable. But honestly, I don't think she wants to fix things. I think she wanted a clean, easy exit where she got to keep everything, and I was left scrambling. Yeah. He sounded defeated. Yeah. That sounds like what happened. I'm sorry. Me too. We hung up. I felt bad for him. He was caught in the middle of something his daughter created, trying to make sense of it. 2 hours later, my wife called. Her actual number this time, not a text. I didn't answer. She called again. I didn't answer. On the 3rd call, I texted. Your instructions were clear. Lawyer to lawyer only. She texted back immediately. We need to talk. This is ridiculous. You made the rules. I didn't mean it like this. I just needed space. Space looks a lot like abandonment and financial planning. Your lawyer has my lawyer's number. You're being petty. I didn't respond. She called twice more that night. I blocked the number. Update 3. A week after the original text, my lawyer called with an update. Her lawyer sent over a proposed settlement. Wanna hear this? Go ahead. She's willing to waive any claim to your personal accounts if you waive any claim to hers. She wants the lease handled so she's removed and you're solely responsible. She wants to keep her car. You keep yours. She wants to split joint possessions 50-50, with her getting first choice on 10 items. What about the savings I already split? She wants you to give her an additional $10,000 from your portion. Absolutely not. That's what I told her lawyer. He agreed it was a reach. He also mentioned, off the record, that she's difficult to work with and keeps changing what she wants. What do I want? What do you want? I thought about it. I want this over. I'll accept everything except the $10,000. She gets nothing additional from me. I'll take full responsibility for the lease if the landlord agrees. We split possessions 50-50 with alternating choices, not her getting first picks. And I want it in writing that she agrees this is a legal separation with intent to divorce, and she waives any future financial claims. Done. I'll send that over. The settlement took another 2 weeks to finalize. Her lawyer kept trying to negotiate more money, and mine kept shutting it down. Finally, she signed. We were legally separated. She moved across the country in early April. I heard through mutual friends that the job opportunity was actually moving in with someone she'd been seeing for 6 months. That explained everything. The distance. The phone obsession. The sudden separation text. She'd been planning this for half a year, waiting for the right moment to exit with maximum benefit to herself. Her father called me one more time, a month after she moved. I want you to know I told her I was disappointed. Not just in how she handled this, but in the lying, the cheating, all of it. You didn't have to do that. Yes, I did. You were good to her, and she threw it away. Her mother and I want you to know that if you ever need anything, we're here. That almost made me cry. I thanked him, and we said goodbye. Final update. It's been 4 months since the text. I'm still in our old apartment, took over the lease fully. It's strange living here alone, but I've been making it mine. New furniture, different layout, cleared out all the reminders of what used to be. The divorce was finalized last month. She didn't contest anything in the end, probably because her lawyer told her she had no grounds. I kept my half of everything. She kept hers, and we went our separate ways. I found out later, through the friend network, that her new relationship across the country fell apart within weeks of her moving there. Apparently, the person she'd been seeing wasn't ready for her to actually move in, thought they were just casually dating. She ended up scrambling for her own place and burning through her savings faster than expected. Her father still texts me occasionally, just checking in. We got coffee last week. He apologized again, even though none of it was his fault. I told him I was doing okay, which was mostly true. I'm not dating yet. Not ready. But I'm not angry anymore either. Mostly just tired and relieved it's over. I learned that when someone shows you who they are through their actions, believe them immediately. When someone tells you not to speak to them, respect that boundary completely, even if it means doing things they didn't expect. And I learned that protecting yourself isn't petty or vindictive. It's necessary. She wanted to play games with our finances and our lives. I just made sure the game was fair.